The poison of blind optimism. Why the belief that everything will be fine can be lethal. In the world of self-help and motivational speaking, we are constantly bombarded with the power of positivity. We are told that if we want something badly enough, it will manifest, and that we must believe tomorrow will be better than today. These sentiments act like sugar-coated anesthesia, numbing the pain of a harsh reality. However, the truth witnessed by Admiral James Stockdale, a hero of the Vietnam War, was the exact opposite. From 1965 to 1973, Stockdale was imprisoned in the Hanoi Hilton, a place where human dignity was systematically dismantled. In the face of daily torture and starvation, many prisoners did not survive. Stockdale later revealed a shocking observation. Those who collapsed and died first were not the pessimists, but the optimists. These were the individuals who constantly said, "We'll be out by Christmas." Christmas would come and go, the bells would remain silent, and they would be disappointed. Then they would shift their hope. "We'll be out by Easter." Easter would pass, then Thanksgiving, and then another Christmas. In psychology, this is known as the trap of groundless optimism. These prisoners set arbitrary deadlines for their suffering and prayed for those deadlines to be met. But reality does not align with our prayers. This cycle of repeated expectation and devastating disappointment eventually shatters the brain's reward system and erodes the last defenses of the human spirit. They eventually reached a point where hope became torture, and they died of a literally broken heart, their physical bodies giving up as their will to live evaporated. This aligns with the records of Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps. He noted that death rates spiked between Christmas 1944 and New Year's 1945, not because of disease or lack of food, but because the prisoners' hope of being home by the new year was crushed, causing their immune systems to collapse. For those in their 20s and beyond, entering the workforce or starting a business, this kind of deadline-driven blind optimism is dangerous. The market does not care about your timeline, thinking everything will change after this project, or investors will come next month, leaves you defenseless when reality hits. True positivity does not begin with closing your eyes to imagine a rosy future. It begins with the cold acceptance that the end of your suffering may not be in sight. The essence of the Stockdale Paradox. Cold realism meets unwavering faith. Admiral Stockdale's survival was not due to a simple positive mindset. He maintained two seemingly contradictory attitudes. Simultaneously, a concept later coined by Jim Collins as the Stockdale Paradox. Its core is to never confuse the faith that you will prevail in the end with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality. Stockdale did not avoid the fact that he had no idea when he would be released. In fact, he operated on the worst-case scenario, that his imprisonment could be indefinite. He told his fellow prisoners, "We are not getting out by Christmas. Deal with it." This wasn't pessimism. It was a survival strategy to prevent his men from self-destructing through false hope. Instead of waiting for a miracle, he focused on what he could control. He created a secret tap code for prisoners to communicate through walls, developed manuals for resisting interrogation, and even disfigured his own face with a razor and a stool to ensure he couldn't be used in North Vietnamese propaganda videos. He kept his faith in ultimate victory as a North Star, distant and guiding, but he focused his daily energy on the thorns beneath his feet, preparing the maps and boots needed to survive the trek. He was heavily influenced by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who taught that we must distinguish between what is in our power and what is not. The timing of his release and the actions of his captors were outside his control. However, how he chose to perceive his suffering and how he led his men were entirely within his power. This is the brand of positivity required for entrepreneurs and professionals today, relying on the economy getting better or government policies changing is a gamble. A true strategic optimist says, "The economy will be terrible for a while, and the market will remain cold, but I will confront the flaws in my product, control my costs, and endure the harsh feedback of my customers to ensure I survive and win." Facing the facts doesn't lead to despair. It provides the most accurate compass for action. Blind faith makes us lazy, but faith coupled with reality makes us formidable. The battlefield of career and business. How to become a cold, strategic optimist. The professional world and the startup ecosystem are survival arenas, just as cold as any prison camp. Everyone dreams of success, but not everyone achieves it. The deciding factor is how one handles adversity. The truly strong are not those who believe they won't encounter obstacles, but those who are prepared to face any obstacle without flinching. A common mistake made by young professionals and early-stage entrepreneurs is running on hope circuits. They believe their idea is so revolutionary that the world will automatically cheer, or that their hard work will be justly rewarded. Reality is often indifferent. Competitors are faster, customers are pickier, and organizations often fail to recognize your value immediately. Blind optimists get frustrated, claiming the world is unfair or they were unlucky, and they give up. They tried to bend reality to fit their expectations, and as a result, they were shattered when they hit the wall. In contrast, a strategic optimist treats failure as data. When a product is rejected, they see it as a signal that the market doesn't want it yet. When their performance isn't recognized, they analyze how their work misaligned with the organization's key metrics. They don't take it personally. They spend their energy finding a solution. To them, not giving up isn't about repeating the same mistake. It's about intellectually advancing, constantly adjusting and pivoting based on reality while keeping the goal in sight. In leadership, this is even more critical. A leader who simply tells their team, "It'll all be fine," loses credibility the moment a crisis hits. A great leader shares the brutal truth, the cash flow crisis, the market threats, the competitor's edge. They say, "The situation is grave, but we have the capacity to solve this, and I have no doubt we will emerge victorious." Teams find more unity and courage in shared reality than in empty platitudes. True positivity is a weapon for the strong, not a sanctuary for the weak. In an era of uncertainty, your greatest skill isn't imagining a path of flowers, but maintaining your balance while walking through the mud. We have now redefined positivity. It is not about closing your eyes to see a beautiful hallucination. It is the stubborn will to stare at a bloody reality without hanging your head in defeat. Admiral Stockdale survived 7.5 years of hell because he was more pessimistic than anyone about the immediate facts, yet more optimistic than anyone about the ultimate outcome. The world we live in can sometimes feel more ruthless than a camp. Effort is often betrayed and the future is frequently opaque. In such an environment, saying, "Everything will be okay," is a deception, not a comfort. Tell yourself and those you lead, "We are in a very difficult stretch. It may not be solved quickly and more trials may come, but I and we will find a way and we will prevail." Confronting reality is not meant to give you despair. It is meant to plant your feet on solid ground. Someone walking on clouds will tumble in the slightest breeze, but someone who kicks the ground hard can advance through a storm. Do not waste your precious mental energy on blind hope. Instead, calculate the reality with a cold head and confirm the victory with a hot heart. Persistence depends on your ability to swallow the pain of reality and still shout, "Even so, today's cold reality is not an obstacle meant to destroy you. It is merely the narrative that will make your eventual victory shine brighter." Kick off from the bottom of reality and soar. Plant your flag at the peak of the victory you dream of.